Hello, everyone. Good morning. Hi, what's going on, Tish?
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. Right now, just so everyone understands, Leah, she just had a customer come into the venue, so she's showing the venue off. You kind of see that in the background, what's going on right now. So she'll join us here in a few minutes. But pretty much today, we're today's show. Again, we're behind the scenes with Wedding Planner and Decorator. We have Tish Joyner and we have Miss Leah. What we're going to discuss today is we're going to talk about the kind of like the operations, what goes on behind a vendor. Of course, some of the details about DJ operations, wedding planner operations, and then also, or I should say, event planner operations, and also decorating operations. And we're going to talk
Mhm.
about what goes on behind the scene and how your dollar is accounted for when it comes to preparing for your event. So first thing first, Tish, what when we talk about operational costs, what's like? Give me a ball. Like, what is your operational costs across the board for your event? Like when you do your daily operations to run your business, what's kind of like your operational costs?
Roughly about 35 to 4,000 a month.
Okay, and explain to them. Just give people an idea on why your operational cost is so much.
Well, technically, I guess that's pretty much on the low side, to be honest with you. But basically, you're looking at you see my home office right now, okay? Which of course I can put this on my taxes, but my home office, everything you see back here behind me, and things that you can't see that are to my left and my right, our operation supplies, folders, paper, printer, ink, lighting, folders for my client files. Uh, the There's some drawers over here to this side of me that you see that are some of my file cabinets. I still have four other file cabinets that are filled with past client information and stuff like that. Then let's talk about my phone line for my fax machine that's over here to my right. My cell phones, which are how my customers contact me, as well as the um, upkeep of our social media. I'm sorry about that, y'all. The upkeep of our social media. Also, and that's either me or someone I hired to do that. And then as a decorator, let me see. I am at eight, nine, 10. I'm at 11 storages. Excuse me, that house all of our stuff from our linens to our,
How big are your storages? That's a lot of storage.
yeah, they're 20 by 30s and they're
Ooh.
all full. They're pretty big.
And this is because you're a decoration side of the business, correct?
That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. So we have like three units alone have like nothing but linens, which would be chair covers, sashes, bands, napkins, tablecloths for round and banquet tables. Also overlays, runners, some backdrop panels, and then we have other units that have glass, which are like the centerpieces that you see. Another unit that has the metals, which well I call it the metals unit, is because it has all the different type of centerpieces that don't include flowers, or you could add flowers to. And then we have our throne chairs, which occupy not only a couple of storage units, but also a couple of garages, thanks to one of my team members and my mother. Um, Not to mention our garage that has stuff in it as well, which I'm trying to condense out of our garage. But operational costs are all of those things that just make me operate as a business first. That's before anything I have to order in, anything, any mileage on my car, maintenance for my car, because I'm running back and forth to either events or meetings, um, or venue site visits, stuff like that. Let alone any of my staffing costs, materials for them, working materials for them. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And this is something you do full time. There's a difference between doing full time and part time. So you're a full
There's a
time
big difference. Yeah.
coordinator slash decorator,
Yep.
and so technically your whole operation is reason. That's another reason why it's like you're spending a lot more in operations because this is a
Hmm.
full time thing versus someone who might be doing it part time. They might not even have an operational cost. And that's one of the things to today's show is that we're going to talk in detail about how operational costs pretty much drives the cost of
Our
what we
services.
charge, right?
Hmm.
Because like somebody who doesn't have to pay a 35 a $3,500 operational cost will do something dirt cheap, which kind of
Hmm.
hurts the industry in a way because people who do it full time get affected by those that do it part time,
That's correct.
and
And
that's
we're not
where
knocking those that do it part
right,
time.
right. We're not knocking them,
Yeah.
but that kind of gives a detail on the actual costs,
Hmm.
why it
Hmm.
costs less when you got a part timer versus a full timer.
Hmm.
Is that their operational costs behind the scenes might not be as much as someone who's full time who has 11 storage areas of I mean, because some of the part-time decorators I know, like maybe one or two, and they only have is just what's in their garage,
Hmm.
so they really don't have to pay that extra fee. But then for those who have been doing it for a long time, they do have like I said, that couple of storage rooms, storage areas, and I think that's where that's where the cost gets. Like for me, like I can say for my operational costs, which is I hate to even say it, but my operation cost is only $300 a month,
Hmm.
and the reason why it's $300 a month is I go to the extra mile to keep my operation costs low, so it affects how much I charge my clients. Um,
Well, not to tell your business, but you also have a nice size storage building, really nice trailer that you can put everything in. So that kind
right,
of helps some too. If you had to maintain storage, I'll be honest with you, you would have to be climate control, which is what my units are. That's why they're higher in price. I don't have external units because I have things that could be completely messed up,
mildew, right, mildew,
if
things like
they're
that.
exposed to anything.
Right,
So if you had to pay for a unit, you're talking about
a
hmm,
lot.
200 to 250.
It depends on the size because just
Oh, excuse me.
I know, bless you. I know just like a 8x10. I think an 8x10 is going for like $89. And that's just like I said, that's no climate control
No, no,
exposed to
nothing.
the. I mean, you kind of exposed to other elements. I mean, and I think that's what people have to understand is that the cost that you're paying, you're not just paying for the service. You're paying like there's fees that there's bills that we have to pay
Mhm.
to keep the business running.
That's
And
correct.
I think like with me, and that's why I have to explain to people is there's a lot of DJ. I know one DJ, he has a storage unit, and he has to pay monthly fee for his storage unit, and then the operational costs like for the software that he does use online. I mean,
Yes.
we're not even talking about the advertising portion of the business or
Mhm.
the applications that have to be utilized for the business. So with
That's
me, I'll be
true.
able to keep my budget down low, my operational cost low. So it's not it's not a big difference to where someone who has to pay $3,500. If you pay, think about it. For you paying operational costs for 3,500 and you only get one event, that's you just
Then I've
broke.
lost money.
You might be. It depends on how much. I mean, they give. Yeah, you're right. Breaking even almost, if not less. So people have to understand that um, there are bills that we all have to pay,
Yeah,
and not that. And see, I think that's what people don't understand is that it costs to run a business, and that's why I
a
wanted
lot
to
sometimes.
highlight that. Like, don't just because Aunt Betsy May got her stuff in a bag in a garage doesn't mean that everybody runs things that way.
True. Very true.
And I think that's where there's a misinterpretation on.
But here's the thing.
Oh
Can I expand on that for 1 second though?
yeah, go ahead.
If Aunt Bessie May has a couple things in her garage, the other major components that she needs for her setup and her decor stuff, she's renting from other people like
Hmm.
me. You know what I'm saying? So therein lies the reason why she doesn't need a storage building
Right,
or a storage unit.
right,
Because she's getting those items that she needs, those specialty items from someone like me or another local renter. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And so that keeps her costs to a certain extent down as far as operational, but actually functioning costs, execution costs, her execution costs are going to be about the same as mine to a
Right.
certain degree because she's got to pay for all those rentals she's got to bring in that she doesn't have in a storage facility.
Right. Absolutely. And I
Hmm.
think that's what people have to understand is me, my operational, my business runs its business. It has nothing to do with my personal life. It has
Hmm.
nothing to do with my personal expenses. My business is my business. And when I say that is so, like, let's say for example, if I get one event that month that pays my operation, I'm breaking even for that month.
Hmm.
But when I'm not able, let's say for example, if I am able to get no business for that whole month, now I'm a negative 300 towards the business.
True.
And people have to understand that, our costs has an impact on how we run our business.
Hmm.
So like if we can't run our business like on a normal basis, we have to make some changes to make sure we're able to meet balance. I mean,
Hmm.
break even for that month. And when you have a negative month, that's bad across. There's only 12 months in a year.
That's
So
correct.
one negative month can have a major impact
Can
on any small business owner.
yes,
Anytime there's a
and
negative,
then
it's bad.
and plus you have to keep in mind like my business is one part of my pie, so to speak.
Right,
But I have special needs children. I have grown sons, grown daughter, a grandkids, a husband, mother-in-law, mother. Like there are so many different things that make up who I am as a person. My business is a part of that. And if my business is not running the way it should be or the way I need it to be running, guess what happens? It starts to affect my personal life.
right,
Can't have those intersecting like that. So I have to run my business life over here and keep it over here. So that
right,
means I am particularly focused on making sure that I make my monthly operational costs every single month and then some to make sure that we're always okay
right.
business wise, let alone my personal side.
Good
Because it's
morning,
not fair to my
Providence.
husband to ask him for money to pay my portion of the bills when business didn't go the way it was supposed to go that last
Right,
month. That's not fair.
and I
It's just
think
like
that's what,
put it this way: your wife has a full time job. I have a full time job. So
right.
does my husband. I just happen to work from home.
But that's one of the things where people like, and this is the part that I hate the most is when you deal with somebody, and this is just a big turnoff for me. Is when you're dealing with somebody, and the first thing they're trying to do is, can I get a discount?
Oh, honey.
And like I tell people, like when it comes to my prices, that's it. You're not getting anything more than that because my prices are already discounted.
There you
You
go.
know, I mean, my prices you can't get any lower. I mean, technically, I'm already giving you one third of what almost everybody else is charging. So when someone comes to me, oh, do you do military discount? Do you do? No, ma'am, no, sir. Because if you're paying attention to the rates, I'm already charging you one third of what other DJs are charging to do
Can
what I
we
do.
can we go into that a little? Can we expand on that a little bit more?
Yes, sure.
There are DJ. Let me just say this out loud. Um, a typical setup. Give me what's a typical setup for you, and then I'm gonna give you pricing from from my perspective what other people charge.
My
So let's say
typical,
your
my
most
basic,
basic setup.
my
Hmm.
basic setup is, I should say my basic package. I'm gonna say
Hmm.
that is you get a video DJ, so you get video screens for video presentation.
How many?
You get two screens.
Hmm.
You get two screens. Of course, the sound system with four
Hmm.
microphones. You get, but the basic you don't get any uplighting, but you do get a monogram and you do get a photo booth or a selfie station. So my basic package is $500. That's just the basic.
You know what I'm about to say, but I'm
Right,
not
right,
gonna
no,
say
no,
it.
but that's just the basic package. Now, in reality, any other DJ will charge $1,000 for what I just said.
um,
that's like half the price.
but they're not getting that selfie station.
No, 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 no. What I'm saying is most DJ now this is the thing I pay attention to
Hey,
the market.
babe.
Um, is that most other DJs would
Mm-hmm.
charge $1,000 to do sound, most of them don't have video capability, so that's
They
just it.
don't.
So
I'm
the
sorry,
camera,
Mario. Wait. Leah, what we're doing is we're kind of breaking down like I know you know what the subject matter is for today, but we're talking about I'm getting Mario to give us an example of what he brings to a setup and what he charges for that setup so we can talk about what other DJ services out there would really charge for those services.
oh shoot, your
Can't
mic is.
hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh,
There we go.
now we
Yep,
can.
okay,
Now we
yeah,
can.
okay, you know.
So I'm sorry, Mario,
We're
go
using
back to
she's
what you
pretty
were
much
saying.
using me as a guinea pig to talk about
I
pricing.
am just for a minute.
Ah, that's
So
good. That's good because we know you bring everything.
Hello.
but that's one of the things that I want to stress to people is that like I know the value of what I'm
Hmm.
bringing, and
Of
I know the
course.
price that I'm charging is in reality is almost either 50% or one third of what other DJs are charging.
Correct. Absolutely
So,
correct.
like for me, I know my basic package, which is a $500 package, most DJs will charge $1,000 to $1,200 just for that
That's
same
correct.
package. So I
For what? For everything that you bring?
No,
no,
for
just
this
the
base
basic,
package.
just the basic package,
Oh,
Hmm.
yeah.
just the
which is
basic
which is
package.
the two screens, the sound system, the selfie station, and the logo thing.
That's it. Yeah, that's the basic package.
And you
Don't,
already
don't
know
And
it.
that's a lot.
That's a lot,
You said you
even
bring
before
in
uplighting.
your package, your package alone with just I know how you set up. And then you bring in the photo thing as well.
right. You get the photo booth right.
You see what your niece said?
Wow. See, you
She
bring
mad.
you give them you give them.
Give.
You give
Keyword
them.
give.
You
Well,
bless them with a complete setup.
but the reason why I stress to people is if my operational cost was, let's say, if my operational cost was $3,500 a month, there's no way I can give them that price.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That price would have to go up. That price because I would have to for $3,500 operational cost, and I charge them five. That means that I would have to do 7 events just to break even.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I say, like with me, all I have to do is one event, and I'm good. So that's why I was explaining to people that the operational cost that goes on, it's like people have to understand that that's the reason why prices are what they are, and that's why they're so different. Good
Mm-hmm.
morning, Miss Baker.
Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Promise. I meant to say hey, Promise earlier.
But that's what people have to understand is that she's saying what she says is
You
too
know what she
low.
gonna say.
Yeah. Um,
But here's the thing. I'm using you as my guinea pig only because with what Leah and I do, as in planning and mainly not really in planning, let's say with decor stuff, and then going into now venue stuff and catering stuff.
Right.
Um, it's a lot more
right. Because there's
compounds
a
on a
lot
lot more
more that goes
stuff.
on. Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that goes on to it because
It's
Hmm.
a whole bunch of extra pieces
right.
Yeah. So
to
that's why I use you as the prime example for now, just
to
to kind
add
of
on.
show, what, because realistically, Lee and I both know we can name three DJ services right now, which we're not going to, that charge anywhere between $12.95 to $2,000
Right. Easy. Easy.
easily for what you
Right.
just named for 500.
And I think that's what people.
And that's just with the setup with them playing the music and maybe their lights that's
Maybe a
surrounding
gobo or something.
their right
Yeah.
their thing and that's it pretty much and and them and here's the other catch now with with that
Mhm.
price Tish you realize that a lot of times most of them they don't even be the MC for the night.
You know what?
See,
I hadn't even.
that's a
Thank you.
big pet peeve
That's
for
why you
me.
my sister right there.
Okay, they don't even now see when I okay. So if I have a bride and she's telling me that she has a DJ
Hmm.
and they're not going with anyone that's in my family, okay,
My
and
nerves.
right, and they're saying that they well whoever this is going to be DJ. My first question to them is that are they articulate? You know what I'm saying? Are they able to MC for the night? Because see, at the end of the day, after I'm done with doing my part, because I'm still working behind the scenes,
I don't
when
want
the
to announce
DJ,
nobody in the room.
right, when the DJ is when it's time for the DJ, that's my hype guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the guy
Mhm.
that's going to get the whole party going. I need you to be articulate. I need you to be able to announce the names in
Mhm.
properly. I do have some DJs that'll tell me, "Well, I don't do that part." Well, then you cannot DJ for me. And then they'll be like, "Oh, we have an MC for the night." That's fine, but my main focus is I really would prefer that the DJ, who is the person that's playing the music and stuff, because you're the hype person for the evening, I would prefer for you to do that.
And you know what, and I agree 1000% with that, because that's one of the things that as a DJ, now me, it really sucks when there's an MC and that person does not know how to MC.
See, that's my
And
point. That's
that's
why
the
I'd
part,
rather have
right?
the DJ who's the hype person
Right, because like I said,
make
if you
the
get some,
announcements for the people to come in. It's
That's right.
important.
and I think that's one of the biggest pieces that I stress to people, that if you're gonna have someone MC it, don't let it be because they do the church announcements.
Yeah.
That's not
Um,
going to do it. We need the MC has to be extremely hype, just as well as the music. You
right,
understand what I'm saying? That's why it must go hand in hand.
Because I
right,
don't think about that thing that that sound that you make sometimes, that real thing, that loud
yeah,
thing. Like, when do they know that's supposed to go in if they're not doing the talking? And when you get clients that hire these DJ services, and I'm gonna say that loosely, who tell me stuff like, "Oh, I don't do that," or "I don't like the way I sound on the mic," then did you choose this profession? That's what I want to know. Because there's more to it than just playing
It's
music.
more to
It's
DJing than just
way more
playing
to
the
it.
music.
right. But
You
like
know,
I said,
you
that's
understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's a whole nother technical term that you got to add to it than just sitting there just playing the music. I mean, I want to hear you. I want you to get the people up, because I'm gonna tell you something. If you got a boring DJ, you'll know because most of the guests is sitting down.
right. Well, I
And
They're
they
mean,
can't
not
really
getting
tell.
up
no,
saying
no,
nothing. You're not playing the
that's
right. You're
only
not
90,
listening.
that's only
You're not
90%
doing
of
it
the time.
correctly.
That's 90% of the time, because I've seen it. I've been done some events normally where they just do not dance. Now that is starting to become a norm. Um, I think I've had that happen at least once or twice a year, where I'll get a crowd that no matter what you do, they're just not going to dance. Um,
Mhm.
it's very
And that
rare.
and that happens because they
It's
just
very rare.
not
It's
that
very
crowd of
rare.
people that just don't. I mean, they
Right.
like listening to the music. They just
Right.
may not like moving to it.
Right.
Mhm.
So they probably just sit back and listen. That's and I say that's very rare, because I won't say I'll get one or two events per year. So it's like a small percentage that would happen. But the biggest piece that I mean, the biggest part about um the cost, the reason why I'm stressing this is I want people to understand that behind the scenes, as business owners,
Mhm.
the operational costs drives how we able, number one, how we're able to stay in business.
Mhm.
Number two is the outcome on our business. So when we look at operational costs, I know Leah, you was out, but like I know, like what Tish was saying, it costs her $3,500 to run her business per month. Like for you, how much does it cost you?
About the same or more.
About the same or more. So
Way more, because you got it's so much stuff you got to take into consideration. This is the reason why when someone comes to you and they want to plan an event, and now we have the venue, you want to have plan an event, you be like, oh, well, can we do this price? Listen, everything in this world has escalated.
right,
Okay, I mean, you can't even go to the grocery store. Are you going to go to the grocery store and tell the grocery man, "Can I make a can we make a deal on this milk? Or
Honey, or them
can we make a
eggs.
deal on the eggs?"
eggs. Can I get one egg for $1?
Okay.
My whole point, it's just not going to happen. Okay, so you have to understand the economy has gone up. everything that we consume as consumers, whether it's food for caterers, whether it's decorating for decorators, whether it's the venue that you want to rent, whether it's DJ status, things have gone up. And before you try to say that you want to do an event, think about that,
Right.
because the
And
prices
be
have,
realistic. Be
right,
realistic.
be realistic as to what, not saying that you can't have it, but you're exactly right, Tish. Be realistic as to what you're going to have and make it accountable for you. Because I'm telling you, I mean, we can't
That's it.
change the world. Things have gone up. So we have to accommodate ourselves.
Because trust me, before COVID, my units did not cost me damn near $300
Right.
a piece
Right.
now.
Right.
Exactly.
I was paying
Okay,
half
that
that
part.
price
Right.
prior to
That
COVID.
part.
Right.
So
Just like the
but
DJ
every
that has
equipment.
gone up too.
Right.
Every 6 months they're
Everything's
going
going
up.
up because
And
DJ
then almost
equipment.
$300 a piece now. It is out of control.
Right, because most DJ equipment went up at least $50 to $100.
Right.
The light
Mainly
system,
everything is, yeah, it's
right,
about a
right,
50, it's about a $50 to $100 and maybe double
right. In some
And
cases,
here's
for,
another
for
thing.
certain things.
And Leah, when I'm saying be realistic, I'm also saying be realistic about what you can actually afford.
Afford.
right,
Yeah.
And listen,
Because
it's no shame. It's no shame if you can't do it on this
well,
level.
that's why,
But
because you
be
know me,
honest.
Tish. You know how I am.
Yeah.
I'm always telling people have something intimate. Because the intimacy
Right,
is
right.
where it is for your event. You don't have
Yeah.
to have 200, 300 people at no wedding. Do you know
I,
these people?
listen,
Do you have you
you want to
seen
invite
these
to
people
something.
over the whole year? No. So just make it as what it is. It's intimate, whether it's I don't care what kind of event it is. Make it
Wedding,
intimate.
whatever.
So that it can be affordable and it can be memorable.
Right. And I think that's the biggest piece that I stress to people is that um, you got to be realistic. I mean, you really have to be
I
realistic.
mean, not unless you're not gonna live the next day. I don't
Right,
understand.
right.
I'm just saying.
You still got to live tomorrow.
You got to live tomorrow, and I think that's one of the biggest pieces that when let's say if you want to do it big, okay, plan it out. I mean, I tell people all the time,
Plan it
if
out
and most of the time,
year,
this is what
even
I see.
a year and a half in
Right.
advance is what you need. If you know for sure that you want to do this and you just gotta have it this way, then
Right.
give yourself enough time to plan for your gotta have it.
That's right.
And then it'll work out for you. It'll work out
Gotta
for
have
you
it, still got a
and it
price
won't
tag.
be stressful. And hire
Right.
a planner. Stop trying to plan everything by yourself. You can't do it.
The
Listen.
biggest thing is I need people to understand is that, I'm not beating up on the church. I want people to know I'm not beating up on the church, but people have to understand what people do for the church is a blessing.
It is.
Not running a
It is.
business, it is a blessing. There's a difference between running a business and giving someone a blessing.
There you
And
go.
when you go in and you're doing God's work, a lot of people don't charge their full fee. A lot of people don't charge at all. So it's important that people do not make a comparison of what you see was done in the church and what you see done outside the church. And I think that's the biggest misconception is, well, if I could do it in the church, then I could do it for,
The misconception is those that speaking that out loud. Because
Right.
they fooling themselves. It's a total let me just the same thing we talk about the difference between a club DJ, party DJ, and a wedding DJ.
Right.
Those are three different entities, period.
Right.
It's the same thing when it comes to planning and decorating. And don't get me wrong, you can plan your pastor's anniversary. And you're one of the people that's a part of that committee, and
Right.
the committee is doing it together. But
Right.
I'm gonna be real.
That's their hospitality committee.
Yeah, that's hospitality, right? So
Right.
here's the thing: it took a group of y'all to figure that out. Leah, how many planners do you have on your team to help you plan your events? There you go. Hello, we do.
That's why when I tell people, it's my mindset that you're paying for. Okay.
And
Because
my
I have to literally
expertise
sit
and my
here
years
and
of
listen to
experience.
everything that you're saying to me, and I have to take it in, and I have to think about it, and I have to put it on paper so that I can execute this thing. This is not something that's just going to come like that, It's something that's planned out. You really have to sit and deal with it. I don't have a group of people around me and we're planning this whole thing. It's not that way. For most event planners, it's them solo dolo.
Right. And thing is now, look,
They have
now
a
let's take that.
few,
Now let's
people that come in and help execute it after you done thought about it.
Yeah, but who preps all the stuff though? I
I
only have
do.
one team
I
member,
do.
one outside of my
I may have
son.
one person help
I
me,
got.
but it's
Thank you.
me.
That no, I'm just saying that helps you when it comes to like the other side of it. Like we're planning it on this side, but the execution part. Before we get to execution, we got to prep linens, we got to prep chair covers, we got to do all. It's a whole lot more that goes into
right,
it. I
and
have
that's
my
what
oldest son, and I have my next to my oldest son that help me with certain parts. I have one team member. I have 8 team members, but I
It's
got
me and
one
my
that will
husband.
help me.
That's who it is. Me and Rex. That's who it is. That's who it is.
Well, it's
And we're
me,
doing
Daisy,
linen,
Jackson, Chris.
and we're
I'm
doing.
just saying.
I'm doing florals. I'm doing decor. I'm setting up props.
Yes,
He's
ma'am.
building props. I
Yes,
mean,
ma'am.
and then
It's more to it.
then we get the staff to come in
Thank you.
and
And they
help
gonna
that
execute,
day
but
to
all
set
of
up.
that had to
But
come
you're
from
talking
here.
about a whole week or two worth of prepping before the actual event, because
And
when people
sometimes
come to
more.
the event, that's what they see. They see
And when
the
you build a
after
prop,
effects.
your props don't
yeah.
take you 3 days. Your props be
No,
taking
this is
you
a
a few
long. This
weeks.
is maybe a week.
Well, see that, and that's what, and and I'm gonna jump in here. Brad just asked a question, which I mean, this is a whole show by itself.
Brad, I'm gonna
Question,
answer that question in a minute.
it says, should you charge the church for your services?
Yes,
Um,
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I'm gonna tell you why. Not so much as charging them, but see, it got to the point where if we had something at church, they would say we can get Sister Leah to do it, because they already know that I'm. This is my business and this is
Mm-hmm.
what I do. But
Mm-hmm.
you know what Sister Leah do? She'll go right up there to the front and ask Brother John and Brother James, "Can you get the donation bucket?" And then I want y'all to go all on this side and all on this side. And I want everybody to give a donation towards this event that we're having. Because see, after a while, you're not going to just depend on me to pay for everything. I'm
That's
not
right.
going to do that unless I have it in my inventory already. But then you still have to don't get it twisted. We still are working. Don't take because we have a business for don't take advantage of it. You understand? You still
That
have
part.
to respect me too, because at the end of the day, even though I'm a member of this church, I'm still a business person. And this is my business. Because if it wasn't anyone in here to do it, you would go outside the church and hire someone to
There
do
you
it.
go.
right.
So don't
Say that again.
do not take advantage of us just because we're able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Give a donation so that it'll be easy on us to provide you with these things.
Amen.
Not that we're going to say no, but you got to help as well.
Well, I ain't gonna say I wouldn't say no, because I have had to turn people down in
And
the
see,
church
yeah,
too.
people want
There's
things
nothing
for
for
free,
free, because
and
They
God
want
sometimes
don't
it's not
everything
for
for
free.
free.
God don't even give you anything for free, because because his payment is your prayers
There you go.
and you living right and having faith. So that's not
Mm.
free.
See,
Amen, Brad. I hear you.
that's one of the things that, and I think that's what we're saying. Like the biggest piece, right, while we're highlighting this information is like the biggest reason why I want to stress the operational costs is I want people to understand that as vendors, we have to pay. But even if you have a venue, of course, with venue, you have more bills to
Way
pay
more.
because you have more things to cover down on. But like decorators, vendor, like caterers, we all have bills that have to be paid in order to keep our operation running smoothly. If you want a successful event, then we have to make sure things are getting paid. Now, what the two of you were just saying earlier, you were discussing the details of like time. People don't understand time is money. Like
That's right.
the biggest thing that kills a business is time.
Yeah, it
It's
is,
like
because
because if we don't
it's
have the
important.
time, we have to spend money. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things I tell people all the time is that most of the people have to understand is like a lot of business now have to purchase these applications that run their business and the front, like the customer service portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
That operational piece can go anywhere between $50 to $200 a month,
Mhm.
depends on what application you're using. And so, right off the bat, you're having to pay for time just for you to be able to operate the other people to actually deal with individuals, to sit down and plan things out. You can't do multiple functions. Now, let's say if you decided to hire somebody, you're still paying for your time and your operational.
Mhm.
So, and then like I say, and most time when you're hiring somebody to do something for you, you're gonna have to pay them anywhere between $10 to $15 to do that. So it's like,
Well, see, that's just like planners. Some like there's some planners. I mean, they pay you have to pay a consultation fee.
right.
That's it. You come and talk to me about your event or whatever. The consultation fee may be $100. It may be $50.
Hmm.
That's just how serious they are about their business. You understand? Because their minds. You're getting ready to come in here and pick my brain. You're getting ready to come in here
And then you're
and
gonna
give
take
me.
everything that I gave you and
You
walk
give me.
away and go do something with somebody else.
Right.
Hello. You get them ready, and then you have some of them who are like, well, can I? Do you have a breakdown sheet? No, I do not. I don't have a breakdown sheet. No, not unless you're signing a contract. And when you sign the contract, then I'll give you a list of everything that we offer.
Yeah.
I'm verbally telling you everything that we offer because right now you have 30 minutes for the consultation,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna come and let me. That's why I always tell them write your questions down and what you want to ask me so that I will be able to answer them right then and there to let them know exactly what we do and what I can do for you. But
Right.
no, I'm not going to
Here's
give
my
you any,
thing.
I'm not giving you any paperwork that day unless you're going to sign a contract. If you're ready to sign a contract with me that day, then we can exchange everything.
There you go. But here's my question right here. This is part of what kills me. I do I have created some packages for certain services, right? And then they'll say, well, oh, I don't need that. Well, listen, if you start taking stuff out of the package, it's no longer a package. Why does that not translate to people's minds? When you get
Oh,
a
that's because they want to because they want to do it the way they want to do it. Now, see, in that case, then they need to that means that we have to revamp everything and make a
That's
package
right.
specifically for you. But
Mm-hmm.
these are the packages that we offer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want an a la carte package and you want to tell me exactly what you want, then we'll make a package specifically for what you want.
There
But
you go.
you're not gonna change anything that I have here because this is the set packages that we offer for this company.
That's
Okay,
correct.
it's
There
a
you go.
big difference. And somebody was saying something about they don't respect the time not only to film, photography, yeah,
Or a
photograph,
photograph.
editing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, it all takes time. Even with my photographers, one thing I tell my photographers is that I have a list, and they also have a list too of my must-have photos that I need.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I give my brides and them a certain amount of time from after the wedding to go take photos. But you got to remember, Mario, you said something about time too. Time is not really on your side.
No,
Okay,
it's
because
not. It
the
really
day
is.
of the event is crucial. That
Right.
means do what I'm saying for you to do in the allotted time that I'm giving you so everything can run smoothly. Because if you miss 30 minutes or something like that, you push back the whole everything.
Then that means
And
contracted
that
time
means
frames can run out.
exactly. And then you might miss something, or we got to take this out because we don't even have time to do it right now.
Right.
Because you have to leave this venue or this space at 12 o'clock midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So would you think somebody's going to stay extra just to do something else? No, that it doesn't work that way. That's
Mm-mm.
why we have a contract and it tells you the specific time to do everything. That's why everything has to be in order.
Right.
Granted, some things do get kind of, oh, we're falling 10, 15 minutes behind. I'm not ever saying nothing won't happen because things do happen. But what I am saying is be considerate of your photographers, your DJs, and everybody, every vendor that you hire because their time is precious.
That's right.
Right. And I
That's
think that's
right.
one of the things that, like, again, like part of that operational piece is time.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
time
crucial.
is
It's
crucial
crucial. It's
to
the main.
where,
It's the main ingredient in the
right,
whole event. It's
right.
time.
And so what we have to understand is that all that comes into the operational cost on what we
Mm-hmm.
do behind the scenes. And what people don't see, what people see from looking in is what they see up front. They don't see all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
Mm-mm.
A lot of people don't understand all the details of what you're paying for to
Mm-hmm.
make that beautiful event take place. So that's why I wanted to really highlight the operational piece, because that operational piece is what costs was what the customer is paying for. They're not paying, but of course the end product is what comes with the planning and the layout, but the operational cost is what keeps things rolling for us to be
Mhm.
able to do those things. And when people fail to understand that and they want to shortchange us, which in most cases we're not going to let that happen, but what they try to do is they try to nickel and dime us as vendors to say, oh, well, all I got is $500, but I want you to provide me with services for 100 people. That's not realistic. People have to understand 500. What is $500 going to do for my business? You just paid just 1/5 of our operational cost if it's $3,500. What is that going to do for me? So I'm going. That means it lets me know that it's going to be a negative. Again, like I say, that's a negative. So after so many negatives, what happens? That business has to shut down.
That's right.
But by the
You
time you
lose
get to
because they lose. You lose money.
right,
You lose,
you're losing money. You're losing all that money and time.
and then you're coming out of pocket, and that's never
Hello.
good. That's never good.
Right. And that's
Hmm.
what anytime that you as a business owner have to come out of pocket to cover down for
I
stuff,
see you, Mr. Woods.
it's like you really have to take time out to like understand that is it worth being in business if I gotta come out of pocket every month to stay afloat? When you have to come out of your pocket all the time. Now, and this is the key thing is all the time, is it really worth now a lot of us love what we do.
I mean, it's only worth it if you're invested in yourself for a specific reason or
Right.
a
Mhm.
specific item. You know what I'm saying? It's like me and Tish, we like, girl, maybe Tish said, child, I'm seeing these arrangements. You got to get them, Miss Lay. I'm getting ready to order them too. That's different
Mhm.
Right.
because that's inventory that we're putting into our business. You
Mhm.
understand? So that we can have them for a client or something. That's an investment. That's
Right.
different. You know what I'm
Just like we
saying?
get training, when we
Right,
get classes.
exactly. But you coming out of pocket trying to do this and trying to do that because somebody didn't want to pay this or pay that. Are you kidding me? You finna give yourself the worst headache in the world.
For real,
Because
migraine city.
it's not you get a serious migraine.
Mhm.
Okay? That
So
that you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself. You should not. It's
And
not
what I said before you got on here was that there's pieces to my pie. One part of my pie is my business, but the bulk of my pie is family,
right.
my husband, my children, my mother. I mean, I got people to live for. I'm not gonna let you over there stress me out over
Well,
some
you should,
nonsense.
exactly. You shouldn't. You
Not gonna do
shouldn't.
it.
You shouldn't
but
do
one
Because
that.
of the things
you're not gonna
this
replace
this
me for my
industry,
husband.
this industry that we're in, and this is for everybody that's in this industry. It is the hardest
Exactly.
industry to work in, but it is a great fulfillment as well because
It
it
is.
is everything. Every event that you do is the same ingredients that go into the bowl, like you're gonna make a cake, but
Mhm.
it's all different. It's a whole different genre of people that you're doing it for.
That's
So
right.
that's the excitement about it. But it's not an easy industry. It's fulfilling and it's
Very.
fun, and we enjoy it, else we wouldn't be doing it.
right,
We
right.
enjoy the parties. We enjoy giving you something that is memorable because
That's
that's
right.
what we want to make sure you have a memory. We want the wow factor for your guests. We want them to have a beautiful time. We enjoy you having a beautiful time as well. But you got to understand that in doing that, we're still professionals. We're still working hard. It's still a mental anguish thing because we have so much things that we got to think about. The
Mhm.
planning is not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not
And
easy
I'm
at
I'm
all.
sick of all these shingle people throwing up saying because they playing something for so and so they're gonna be a planner. No, you're not. I'm so
This is
sorry. And
not
I'm
easy.
gonna get hate mail and everything for this one. But I'm
I
gonna tell you
told
right
you when
now,
I started
stop
teaching. When I
stop
started
doing that.
teaching,
You can't walk into a school system and say, "Oh, I work with this one and said I want to be a teacher." You got to have degrees, education, certifications, blah 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 for that. Stop disregarding our work, our
you
time,
know,
our
when I
effort, our
started
training.
teaching,
Stop doing that.
But you know
when I
what?
started teaching
But
the
you know what,
event
Tish, but this
classes,
is look. I'm gonna speak up. But Tish, I don't understand. Aunt Betsy Lee, she did it for the church. Why? What's so difficult?
the difficulty is not the people that you're familiar with. When you
But
You
you
work
know,
put
with
me on
when you
camera
working
and
with
you leave me
people
alone,
when
Mario.
you working with people outside of your everyday people that you see, These are strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these are
Mm-hmm.
strangers. This is a whole genre of people. You don't know these people. This is something that you're doing new. This is not something that you could play around with. This is something that you're doing new. You know, when I used to teach, I still teach the event planning courses, but now I have it online.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do the event planning courses, the first question that I ask everybody that tells me that they want to be an event planner, my question
Why?
is, why?
Mm-hmm.
That's my first question to you.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want to be an event planner? Because
It's glamorous. It looks like it's a lot of
when they
fun.
answer me, if they answer me and say, "Well, I love decorating and I love to make the tables pretty and stuff like that," and you know what I tell them? You're not going to be an event planner. You're going to be a decorator.
Right. There's a big
Then
difference.
somebody will tell me, "Oh, I just love doing the flowers. I like doing them." Then you're not going to be an event planner.
You're
You're
gonna
going to
be
be
a
a
florist.
florist. Okay. So did y'all hear the question that I asked? You taking an event planning class. You saying you want to be an event planner. That's not what an event. Those are different hands
Mm-hmm.
of the
Amen.
event planning business. So that means that in the event planning business, the florist is what you want to do. You want to do head table decor. In the event planning industry, you want to be a decorator. So that means you don't want to deal with the people because the event planning is dealing with the people.
There you go.
And you got
Okay.
to be
If
careful.
you're not a people person, do
You're
not
gonna
do a
never
people
make it.
job.
Right. You gotta be careful. And see, that's one of the things I stress to people. Like, I mean, I have a degree in event planning. So like me, I know what right looks like based off of that degree. And what that it teaches you what on a corporate level how event planning is supposed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at it from a corporate aspect and I look at what some of these people who call themselves planners is that they're nowhere close to it. So and I always and I, again I'm not beating up on the church, but I always go back to most of those individuals who want to be planners is because they did something successfully for their church or
Let me
for their
say this.
school
Let
or
me say
for
this,
something
Mario.
something that doesn't require a lot of planning.
But let me say this. 9 times out of 10, when you're doing something in your church, even if five of those 45, 50 people that went can pick it apart and nitpick it and be like, I didn't like this and I didn't like that, they're gonna tell you to your face, oh, what a great job you did.
Right.
Because they didn't pay
Because
you for it.
it's a church event, right? It's
But in our world, when you step out of that one and you come into this one, let one person not like something that you did.
right,
You're gonna have to refund some money,
right,
offer explanations, give an apology. You're gonna get bad reviews. It's gonna be a whole lot of stuff.
right.
It's a
You
whole
You become
you
a
ain't
bigger
ready for
target.
this.
category.
You become a
Look,
bigger
like my
And
target.
husband said, you ain't
and
ready
you
for this
gotta
smoke. I promise
understand
you
that
that you're not ready for this smoke.
when you
This,
doing
this takes some willpower right here.
corporate event planning and event planning industry and what it's two different things.
Amen.
That's a whole it's still in the event planning industry, but two different genres.
Mm-hmm. Like
Right.
R&B and pop.
Two different levels of event planning.
Because
Mm-hmm.
with corporate level, there the money is properly allocated.
Exactly.
When you are a like and what we call it is and the way it's broken down in class is like y'all are dealing more with the social events of event planning. Y'all are not dealing with the
Social
other
and personal events.
right.
Mm-hmm.
You're more doing more social type events. You're not dealing more so with the other elements of corporate. So like social is like the very low minimum of what corporate does because corporate does more focus towards the other things.
That's
So
correct.
that's one of the things that people have to understand. And I know the acronym is called SMRF, which don't ask me where to break it out to go back and look it up again. But it's like the S in SMRF, which is the acronym that they use for it. But one of the key things that people have to understand is that the cost it costs y'all more money than a corporate level because corporate level the money is already allocated for it. But for y'all have to deal with individuals one on one that the budget sometimes they have the budget, sometimes they don't, and then sometimes you have to work with the changes and that's the one to make that transition to where when y'all first initiate with the customer, that first 30 days, how much money does it cost you to deal with one customer for the first 30 days? I want y'all to really think about that for a moment. How much money does it cost you to deal with the customer within that first 30 days? of actually them signing the contract and prepping their stuff. The
No,
first
that's half their bill.
the first
That's
30 days, right?
Yeah, that's about half of
So
whatever it is that
let's
we charging them because that's the most important time.
the first 30 days, right?
Yeah,
So
it's the most
I'm
important
using
time
this.
because you really are working. You really
Right
are working right there. I mean, you're putting everything together so that you'll be up and ready to go when it gets closer to that time. That's
now.
just like a that's just like, remember I told y'all before, one of my clients came in and you talking about the time period and everything and the cost of everything. She wanted a cake. That Pinterest is the devil for brides.
Oh
I'm
my
telling you.
gosh.
You look at it, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Pinterest and they got beautiful stuff. But when you looking at it and you know you don't really have the funds to actually do something like this, I mean, she just came in crying. She really needed to have this cake because it's a 7-tier cake. I said, baby, I said, why don't you send me a picture of the cake? I looked at the cake and I was like, I said, sweetheart, do you know? I tell you what, she said, I really want to have this cake. I said, good, listen, let me send this to 2 of my cake bakers. I already know what they're gonna come back with. Okay. I said, let me just send this to 2 of my cake bakers and let me see what they say about this cake. I said, I said, you see the applique on this cake? And she said, yeah. I said, well, that's what you're paying for. Because it was handmade, it was hand pressed leaves on the whole entire 7-tier cake. That's quite a bit of time.
That
Right.
takes a day just alone just to do the
More than a day to do this. Okay. It's some hours in this here. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this for you because I need you to understand what you looking at. Because you looking at it and you ain't looking at what your funds are.
hmm
Okay. Honey, them people came, they sent me that well, and I was just like to see. I said, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. Let me send her this price. And it's like, oh no, Miss Lady, it's gonna cost that much. It don't look like it is. I said, well, that's the whole problem, baby.
That's
To
something.
you, to
what
you, it don't
you're
look like it
seeing,
is.
what you're seeing is the finished product. What we're
Exactly. But
seeing
you're
is
not seeing,
the
you're
time it
not
took to
seeing
put
what the
that
person
together.
has to do to
Thank you.
make this
We
happen.
see that part. We can see it.
But that's what the reason why I asked that question is I want to lead into after that first 30 days. Now again, regardless if it's 12 months in advance, 6 months in advance, but that first 30 days costs y'all a lot of time and money, correct?
It
Yeah, it
does. It
does.
does.
So
That's
when
the
you
most
have a
important
customer
time.
gets within the month of your event and they cancel, how much
They
time and money have you lost?
everything.
So
Everything, all the
I
time
can't
and
even get right in
energy
my
is,
chair
is
right now.
gone.
So when a person cancels, and the reason why, and I know this is the end portion of the show, was I wanted to highlight the details of what it costs to run a business, the operational, and how much money and time is being put forth to prepare for someone's event. Then the turnaround is when they come into you and they cancel within the same month of the event. How much time and money is wasted
Mm.
out of your
Every
pocket?
single minute that I put into it, every single dollar that I put into it, every bit of research I've done, every single text, a piece of text message, um, uh, emails, to them and to vendors, they wasted all of my time that I cannot get back.
You
So
can't get it back, and you really can't even put a number on it because
Really
it's
can't.
just your time. You're exhausted. You know what I'm saying? You exhausted everything. That's why when you have a contract, you have to make sure that your retainer and everything is, and your payments and stuff is high enough, and you have to put even in your contract as a clause that if you're going to cancel, if something, God forbid, something happens and you reschedule, there's a rescheduling fee.
Amen.
Okay.
hmm
Period. Because we already had this for this year, and now you want to push it back to next year, which is fine. We can redo this
If I'm
another
available.
time. But
no, but
there is
there's a difference.
it's a
Now I
whole
want you
nother
now
thing.
what back up now. I want you to there's a difference between reschedule and a cancellation though.
If you're canceling it and you're not going to actually do your event, then everything is lost.
Right. So there's a difference. See, reschedule. You still will get
You can
you'll
still
lose.
have it at a later date.
You can
But if
still
Yeah, but
do
you're
to
it, but when
cancel,
canceling and you're
but to
30 days into
cancel,
your event, there's nothing that I can do. It's gone. It's lost.
but wait, but to cancel and then say, "Oh, can I get my money back?"
No, absolutely.
What?
I'm about to go.
but no, but the
You
reason
see
the
me?
reason why
You see
I
me
still
drinking this coffee, don't you?
no, but what people have to understand, and this is what people understand, reschedule and cancellation are two different things. Cancellation is when you cancel, and this is the thing is it's one thing if they reach out to you and they tell you they're canceling the event. But if they don't even take the time to call you up to let you know that, hey, I canceled my event, you find out the week of the event that is canceled. And the only reason why you
So
found
lots
out,
of staff members have to take off time from their regular jobs or have made arrangements for different things like childcare. Let me be quiet.
but that's what I'm saying is that people need to understand. Now, again, we all get it. If there's unfortunate things that happen and take place, there's nothing you control. Like that's the act of God clause that we have in our contract.
We do.
To where when something like that happens, but when a person just ups and cancels and doesn't even pick up the phone to call and let you know, and then you find out the week of or 2 weeks prior that it's canceled, how much time can you? Because you can't even sell that date again.
You
That date is
can't sell
gone.
the date again. You've already prepped everything. You are absolutely ready to go. Your living room or your space where you have your items that is already full, taking up space, ready to be pushed out and drove into wherever it is that you got to go. You've already upside down your whole entire time.
Yeah, because like, let's
For
say like
this
for
event
decorators,
and not even get a phone call is very inconsiderate.
Oh
It's
my
very
God, that's
unprofessional.
beyond disrespectful.
And
That
it's
is
very
beyond disrespectful.
disrespectful for you to do that to someone that has put all their time and effort into helping you plan your moment.
There you go.
and I think that's one of the things I want people to understand that when you refuse to do the right thing, and the right thing is if you decide to cancel your event,
Be
at least
courteous. Be courteous.
make that Curtis phone call,
Make that phone
regardless
call.
if
Let
you losing
someone
money,
know.
if you lost money or whatever the case may be, at least have the courtesy to call the person. Because I look at it like from the decorator stand, like for a DJ, okay, the only thing is we don't really, in some cases, like I'm gonna use this as a perfect example. All right, the month of February for me, I've had a total of 4 cancellations in this month. Four out of the 4 cancellations, I have to explain. I've lost a lot of money and time. I was about to go out and purchase equipment, which is very rare for a DJ to have to go out and buy additional equipment for an event. But I was going to purchase equipment for 2 of these events because of the location of
Give a
where they were
dollar
at.
amount. Give a dollar figure.
No, yeah, the equipment that I was going to purchase was going to cost me $1,500 to go out and purchase this equipment. So something told me not to purchase the equipment because I had a bad feeling on the feedback I was getting from the customer on what was going on. So then when the event got finally canceled, I was glad I didn't invest that $1,500. See, so for me as a DJ, I am lucky. But for y'all two as decorators,
Yeah, but for us, it
I'm not
ain't.
the person.
It's not that lucky because, like I said, I mean, you got linen, you have linen, you
Wait a
got
minute, Leah.
everything.
Wait a minute. But Mario, out of those dates that were canceled, how many of them have you refilled?
I've refilled out of those 4 for the month of February. Now, for the month of February, I filled 2 of those.
Okay, okay.
The other one was in April. The other cancellation was in April, so I've already filled that one. So technically, out of the 5, I just was talking about those 4, but out of the 5 that were canceled, I mean, that's a lot for me. 5 cancellations, and we're just starting in the year. That's bad. That's a
But
bad.
for us,
go ahead,
we
Leah.
don't have nothing to fill.
Right. So for me, it's like that's what I'm saying. For a DJ, is a lot different than someone who is a decorator because within 30 days, you'll probably purchase the stuff about 60 days in advance, 60 to 45 days in advance before the event. So for you to get a cancellation 2 weeks prior, all that money has been spent on decorations, especially on special order stuff. So that's why I tell people that if you know that you're not going to do the event and you can't do it, at least take time out to let people know. Now, again, we understand those circumstances when God, like we all know, like COVID stuff like that. We got that part, but
Hmm.
if you're just counseling just because, or because you don't have enough money to do the event, you should have. And I think that's the part those are the cancellations. And that wasn't the case with these that I'm just talking about. But I'm just saying I had one a couple of years ago that they canceled the event because they didn't have enough money. You knew going into the event that you didn't have enough money. That's like you okay. That's why I tell people it's like don't wait to the last minute to plan an event.
Well, it
You
goes back to what we were saying earlier. You have
Mhm.
to have the right, give yourself the amount of time that you need
Right,
Yep.
to have the plan correctly so that you will be able to get the things that you want to have. So you won't have this problem of canceling or anything like, God forbid, some things do happen,
right.
but give yourself the amount of time that you need to do, that you need for yourself to plan it the way you want to plan it. Don't rush into it. It's not that serious. You don't have to rush into
15
things.
months to 18 months is not a long time.
No, it isn't. It's go by
It
so
really
fast.
isn't. But it's
Right,
ample time to pay for your dream event. So plan ahead.
right.
Yeah, Brad, we can because the signs is right there.
And I
So
think that's the
sometimes,
Signs
but
is
not
right there.
always.
right. Well, yeah. See me with all with
I'm
the
talking about
events they
Brad's
cancel
comment.
is like when I reach out to the client and I call the client 3 times, get no feedback, no phone call back. I emailed 3 times. And see me, I'm a type of person. I'm gonna reach out to you numerous times. Once we get within that 14-day time frame, you're going to get tired of hearing from me. I'm going to contact you. I'm going to see what's going on and what's going to take place. If I don't hear from you, that lets me know it's a bad sign that something's gone wrong. That's the first instinct that comes into place. So from there, I sent this, I sent that. I mean, and it's sad that with one of my events, it is like I had to really go to the extreme just for them to respond back to me. And when they
That's
respond,
unfortunate. That's unfortunate because,
but that's why
like
I
we
want people
said
to understand
earlier.
that when you cancel your event, or if you know you're going to cancel, be respectful. Contact your vendors because they've already wasted so much time prepping for your event. At least give them the courtesy to where they can salvage whatever little bit they can from the loss of all the money and time that they did. I mean, they lost preparing your event. Take that
Hmm.
time, be respectful. Because see, to me, okay, I can bounce back easy because of how I operate. But y'all running y'all operation cost is $3,500. How can y'all bounce back when you put all the time and effort into an event and you just lost? That's a negative. And
Well,
like I tell people,
honestly, because a lot of times we'll have two, three, four, or more events in a month.
right,
Leah and I know what I'm saying when I'm saying that. Um, that have been charged enough, for coverage for certain things. You know what I'm saying? That
Hmm.
are going along with the our pre, set packages or whatever like that. We normally we can cover those things, but the thing is, we can't recoup what we've lost on that one event.
right.
We just can't.
No, you
That's
can't.
an absolute loss. Period.
Because preparation time costs you.
Yeah. Effort.
Preparation time costs you, and my brain costs you.
Right. Because it's a mental
Look, my
yeah,
smarts,
it's a mental
my
strain.
intelligence,
Yeah,
my years of experience, my knowledge.
but
Because let's talk
It,
about
it,
it.
it costs you because
There is
it's
a
a lot.
vendor, there is a planner that we all know who has literally been tested during some events. And she has come through with flying colors. But has she not had, and I'm talking about Vivian, yes, I am talking about her. Has she not had the years of experience and knowledge that she had,
mhm,
she would have fell flat on her face.
right.
And Mario knows a couple of events I'm talking about
Oh yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
literally
yeah,
were,
yeah.
and there was nothing that she did not do
It
or
was
that
right,
she did
right.
wrong. Outside
stuff that
sources
you wouldn't believe that was going to
that
happen.
happened. But had she not been experienced, had that client had not paid her for her years of experience and knowledge and just just period her brain power, like Leah says, her brain,
Yeah,
that those events would have fell flat for real.
because because us as planners, like this was like the other episode that we had. You that's why I said it's important for the. Remember, Tish, we was talking about before that if anything happens, I don't care who you hired, it's going to go back on the planner, on the person
That's
that's
right.
there. So it's important that we know everything. We know a little bit of everything, of
That's
every
right.
vendors, of what every vendor is supposed to do. Because when something goes wrong and it get to the point where it's starting to get chaotic, we know how to close that thing down, put that fire out real quick,
Mm-hmm.
regroup, and let's do something wholly different, and let's
Mm-hmm.
get back on track.
And that's also the reason why we have a tendency to, um, I'm not going to say favor our pool of vendors, but we tend to pull from our pool of
We
vendors
have a
because those are
specific
people we know that are
channel because that
reliable.
way we know without a shadow of a doubt they know how to pull stuff together and
Mm-hmm.
and regroup to make it go back to the order that we had originally had, and we can just go ahead and keep it moving.
Mm-hmm. Because
And
when
it's
you
the
when
professionalism is what we look for.
correct, when you have clients that hire, like I had a client that hired a DJ for a wedding and reception that took place in a venue that used to be over in Westwood Shopping Center. And I literally, and Mario, please forgive me in advance because it was the DJ that was making me crazy. I literally ran down some stairs and ran up to his side and I said, listen, you miss one more cue and I'm gonna start DJ because I'm gonna fling you across this balcony. Now normally I wouldn't do that. But he had missed 3 cues already. And you know how we are by them cues.
Yeah, you
That
got
thing
to
was
be
driving
on
me crazy.
time. You got to be you. I
He
don't
didn't. He
like
had
one
not done
thing.
a site visit.
I
He would
understand
not. He
exactly
did
what
not
you're
return
saying.
my emails about the music list. Everything I was trying for months and months. And I told the clients when they first introduced me to him, I don't feel comfortable because he's not a wedding DJ. He
Yeah, we
DJs
spoke
parties.
about that.
There's a difference.
Right. But the biggest piece though here is I want people to get a good understanding of the operational piece. And just like I said, like when someone cancels on you, there's a mental strain. Because how many times have y'all been up to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning trying
But not
to,
sleep at all for
or no sleep
2 days.
at all, working on events, trying to get, and I'm not talking about the week of, I'm talking about months
I'm
ahead
not either.
because you have to put together certain things and you're trying to work with 6 different brides. Um, and all 6 different brides are going in all the wrong directions. I mean, how much like it's like
Lee, how much you spend on coffee a month as part of your operational costs?
It's about this every day.
Okay.
so,
Maybe 2 or 3 times a day.
Okay.
and that's one of those
I
things that
think I might add that to the bill.
You do. You need to grab coffee is on my thing. I drink
but that's
coffee all day some days.
but that's one of those things that people have to understand is that there's a
It
mental
is.
strain,
There
a
is.
mental stress. There's a lot of stress that goes on behind running a business. Now, don't get me wrong. And see, this is the thing about this industry. It's the easiest industry to get into and the easiest industry to mess up at the same time.
It
Mm-hmm.
is.
And
It's
if you don't
stressful.
take the time
It
to
takes a lot of
prepare,
it's a lot of mental though.
right? Because like nowadays, like what industry do you know to where you don't have to have a license? What industry you know that you don't have to have an educational background? I mean, so in this
Or
industry
insurance.
or insurance, I mean, there's no additional cost where like in other places, if you're insurance agency, you got to have this, and this. If you are daycare, you got to have this. I mean, even babysitting is a requirement that you have to have. So it's like for I was like running a day. I'm gonna say baby care, I'm like daycare, but I mean, it's just so many different things that people need to understand. Is that okay? There's a lot that goes on the operational costs. The operational costs, not just the money, it's the mental physical beatings that we take or deal with when we're setting things up. And so when
And that you just can't put a price on.
you can't really
Mm-mm.
put a price on it. So it's like at least be respectful when that time comes and you can't, let's say if you cancel, be man, woman enough to call up those vendors and say, hey, because then guess what? They might, not all the time, but they might be able to sell that date again. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I just got like for the month of February, I have 4 cancellations, and then out of those 4 cancellations, I was able to sell 2 of those days. So I made up my loss. So like this month, going in for this month, um, I still made a profit for this month, but it was like a barely profit because of how they went about doing the cancellations.
Mm-hmm.
And God forbid, if I would have spent that $1,500 to buy that additional equipment, I would have a big negative for this month.
Yeah.
And so, like me, I said, after seeing this month alone, as a business owner, I can't afford to do business with people that do. And this is where I'm going to wrap it all back to the beginning. Is if you can't sign a contract or put down a deposit, don't waste our time. Don't pick up that telephone and start calling around if you
If you
already
window
know
shopping,
you ain't got the money to even put down a deposit. If you don't even have $100 to put down the I mean, that's the basic bare minimum for most deposit is $100. If you can't afford to put down $100, then don't waste nobody else's time calling them. If you
It's a lot to take into consideration because,
yeah,
like I said, we do a lot of it's a lot of mind power, manpower,
right,
especially for me and Tish. It's a lot. I mean, because our creativity is at stake. When we sit down and we really actually plan and imagine and put this whole thing together, it's like you know, it's a lot of mind power for us to do this. It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
well, let me ask you this:
I
Can
always
y'all?
say my thoughts is what your my thoughts is my paycheck. My mind is what we sit down and we put these things together and we say this is going to be like this and we're envisioning something for you. We're taking your vision and adding it to what we already know that we can do for you to make it even more elaborate.
Right.
A lot.
Let me throw a question. I'm gonna throw I'm gonna throw a seminar at y'all real quick. Um, um, yeah, I'm gonna throw that time. I'm gonna throw that time up. I'm gonna throw something. I'm gonna throw a scenario at y'all real quick, and I want y'all to listen to this scenario and let me know if you ever had this scenario happen before. Um, hey Tish. Hey Leah. Look, we're doing an event and I want you to hold a date for us because we're really looking at doing this event. We're it's a fundraiser or it's an event where we're selling tickets, and so everything we're doing is going to be based off of the sale of tickets. But can you hold the first of August for us just so we can have a date locked in with you? Is that okay?
no, ma'am. No.
What's
They
wrong
have
with
to
that scenario?
they
Now
have to
tell
come in, they have to come in and sign a pre-contract hold for me. And once they sign that pre-contract hold for me, you have a few days to come in with your deposit. After that few days is gone, because I know that for a fact that some people that come and see you, they may not have money right then and there. And they need to come and ask you or either look at the venue or whatever. But you only have a few days, and I mean a few days
I'm
to
with you,
come
Greg. Red
in,
flag.
and that's it. The date comes off. That
Well,
pre-contract comes
why
off.
you can't? And again, I'm talking as a customer. But why you can't hold a day for me?
Not permanently, no,
I
because
mean,
you haven't put a deposit down.
I'm going to have the event. I mean, don't worry about the money. I'm gonna have the event.
No, we
I have
can't.
to worry about that part.
We that's not something that's non-negotiable. That's not negotiable at all.
But
Okay.
It's not negotiable. We can't do it. It's not gonna happen.
but
Leah
but
got
this is
about 10 things running through my head right now.
Listen, no. Mm-mm.
but this is for the pastor.
Well, listen. If you go
And you
to
need to talk to
Roses
Pastor
and
about
you
that,
ask, and you want to
whatever
go put
fellowship
some,
it is within the church, and y'all need to
are
get my
you going to
contract
ask
together.
Walmart to hold this for you because you're gonna come
Indefinitely.
back on the 30th
Indefinitely.
and you didn't put it on layaway?
But let me ask. But see, this is what people. This is funny, but it's serious at the same time because
It is
how,
serious
how
because they asked that crazy question.
On
why
a
you can't hold
regular
a day?
basis.
Why you can't? Because to me, it's like this, and this is how people have to understand this. We're not going to take you seriously if you're not willing to pay the deposit that is required. Why
Retainer.
would I waste
It's a
I got like
retainer that you have to pay.
right
Pay the
that
And it's
retainer, and we
non-refundable.
know that you're serious about renting
right
that day and come back.
if you
Then
don't
this,
pay
then this doesn't even have to be a discussion.
There we
right.
go.
So, and I think that's what people have to understand is that you can't, because just if I hold that date for you and you decide to change up, I have 6 other people that were serious. And I had to explain that to somebody. I had one situation where I had one customer who wanted the day, but they didn't want to make the deposit. But then I have another customer, not only did they want to make the deposit, but they were already paid in full. And I mean, they were on it. So when I
That's
tell
it.
people, then like I said, then you have the scenario of how about this? I'm just going to send you the deposit, and I'll sign a contract later.
Say what?
I
I'm
get
going to
those two.
send
I've
you
had
the
somebody
deposit,
literally pay my retainer before I could get home to send them the contract. I've had it happen to me too.
right?
That
But
can
the thing is,
that can happen, especially for me and Tish.
Mm-hmm.
I
right?
mean,
But what happens?
I've had people just go ahead and just send the money in after I done sent them an invoice,
But
and
what
then
happens is
I
30
didn't get
days.
home in time. I didn't even get home yet to do this in the contract too. So I
But
mean,
then, but then what happens is,
that just tells me one thing: they serious about what
well,
they want.
but let's say 30 days go by, and they still haven't signed the contract and sent it back into you.
And they did what? Pay the retainer?
They paid a retainer fee.
No, that you wouldn't even get 30 days because I've been on call you 2 days, 24 hours after.
Because that's what,
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do
and I
that.
think that people, because see, me in my situation, if I don't do both at the same time, I will mess around and double book myself. Because if
Yeah,
I don't have a contract on,
that has happened. That has
and I think
happened.
that's what people have to understand is that the importance that deposit is just as important as a signed contract because most of us track our events based off of the signed contract,
Our paperwork.
our paperwork. So
Mm-hmm.
when people do not want to do the paperwork, to me, the event don't exist.
Mm-mm.
I don't care how much money you put down. Without the paperwork, it doesn't exist because of the way I keep my records is if I don't have something on file, then you don't exist to me.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So that's just something that again, I want people to understand that whole concept is this today's show was I wanted y'all to share what goes on behind the scenes on the operational piece. And that, and like and for y'all spend a lot more money than what DJs would on preparation piece. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
time with DJs, we might have to download some additional music and pay for the music and things of that nature. Then sometimes we might have to go out and pay for additional equipment. Depends on what it all because most time DJs we don't really buy equipment based off of the event.
For
Um,
us, it's inventory.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all have a larger inventory than what we
Lots
do.
of inventory. I think between me and Tish alone, we would probably have one of the biggest.
Stores ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because y'all got decorations, y'all got furniture, y'all got I mean, y'all got
Linens.
like everything, like I mean, every single thing that you can possibly use for decoration decor, y'all have it in your inventory. I mean, like I know between the two of you, y'all got like a whole 2 warehouses worth of equipment, if
oh,
not
more than
three.
that.
Yeah. Like if not three. I mean, because like just looking at how much equipment that you have. So it's like when like the
Yeah,
operational cost is so when you charge someone, okay, it's gonna cost you $3,000. It's like people understand you're not just you're that's just what the cost is. That's the breakdown. And when you really start to show them the numbers by a spreadsheet, it really spells it out. So, but that's why I want people to see the operational cost is what drives the price to a degree. The inventory piece,
yeah,
you
it
don't
is,
put it on.
and the price of where we're what in the state of where we're living at right now. Everything
Right.
has gone up.
So that's one of the things that I need for people to understand is that um, this is no matter how you want to downplay this, what we do is it is a profession.
It
It is
is.
an industry. It is a respected industry.
Yeah,
A lot of people have to understand that there's a lot to come up. This is not something where we're sitting back on our couch running our business off of. This is a full-time business for a lot of us. And the biggest difference, I didn't talk about this, was between part-time and full-timers. Part-timers most of the time have a full-time job.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
So what they do part time in most cases is like some it brings in extra income for their family, but the operational cost is going to be a little bit less.
Quite a bit less.
Yeah,
Is
basically
what I was
because
saying.
it's something is I don't want to say the word hobby,
Yeah,
but
Right.
but that's
it's
exactly what it seems to be sometimes.
it's more on that level that
Mhm.
actually makes them a little money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Money
Because
on the side. But
our business is like
when you talking about full blown into it, because
we
that's
the
what
Macy's, baby. We the Macy's out here.
when you are full blown into it, just
Right.
this is what we do.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. This is everything. This is everything. So it's more time, more mind power.
Hmm.
It's just more, it's more everything. It's more everything. It's not like, you doing this on the side, or, I'll pick up an event, maybe two events a month, maybe one event a month or something like that. I don't do it like, no, this is it. This is it. This is an everyday situation.
That's right.
But I think that people need to understand that what we do,
Thank you, sweetheart.
Wasn't that sweet?
Hmm.
what people have to understand is what we do, and the thing is, the level. There is a big difference between full time, part time. Full
Hmm.
timers,
Yeah,
we.
of course it is. Of course it is. Of course
But
it's a
that the thing is, and the
yeah.
reason why I say that is I have to say it that way because a lot of people get it confused with someone who does it part time and full time. Is all they see is the end product. They don't see what goes on behind the scenes.
No,
And a
that
full
even if it
timer,
is part time or full time, most people don't see behind the
right?
scenes. They only
And
see
that's
the end results of the
the result.
actual day.
And you can tell, and most of the time, you can tell the difference between a full time and part time. In some cases, not all cases. In some cases, the price has a big
Hmm.
difference. The price is a telltale for most cases, not all cases. Because like if you're dealing with someone who does it as a hobby, in a sense, their price is going to be lower. But you have
Much
someone
lower.
who does it full time, it's going to be higher. And I think that's one of the biggest things that people have to understand. Um, let's see here. I agree with you. They don't see the behind the scenes.
And not only that, it's a big difference. Even when you're saying that the prices will be lower because this is something that they're just, and it could be somebody new too that just
Right. And
starting.
most of the time it is somebody new. Most of the time it
Yeah,
is
they're
somebody
just
new.
starting into it and everything. But you know what? And,
I
and
love
the
you.
thing is that, how you always say you get what you pay for.
Right.
That's
And
So
correct.
the quality of work speaks for itself.
so
Is different. Is much different than you having, let's just like going to a restaurant, and the chef has been a chef for years, and his quality of work is prestige. Is
Top
what
of
you're
mind.
looking for. You're gonna enjoy it because, oh my God, the spread, the presentation is absolutely amazing.
Hmm.
All of that takes into consideration. All of
right.
that you have to take into consideration.
But with that being said, like I said again, this was a great show. Is like I said, my biggest thing is I really wanted to highlight what goes on behind the scenes. He said, I think all your awesome, the respective way, wonderful world is and wonderful people. Oh, thank.
Very nice.
But that's just one of the things that I want people to understand is that um, when you go through and you do a situation like this, the operational cost is something to where when your event is canceled, there's a lot of money and time that is lost that cannot be gained back. So when a person looks at, oh, cancel, no big thing, I'll just cancel the event. It is a big thing because now you just hit a business hard to a degree to where now all that time you can't, like I said, you can't put a price on time.
Mm-mm.
You can't get time back. I don't care
And,
how much money you charge, you can't get time back.
No,
and plus,
no time
Leah,
can you get back.
Leah, the time that we lose from our family members, our friends,
That's the
our
worst of it
children,
all, because in this
because
business you are extremely busy.
Yeah,
very,
you have no time. There's no time
so
limit. There's
and
no time limit because you like in some cases you have to
and
cut
your
into your
and your
family
and
time.
your family takes a big hit.
yes,
Right.
it does.
Your family takes a big hit because this is extremely, extremely time consuming. Extremely
Very.
time consuming. And you have to weigh it out. You have to weigh it out to you really have to know what you're doing when you're getting into this type of industry because
Hmm.
in anything when you become an entrepreneur, work this is the hardest thing you're going to do for yourself is work for yourself. It's the
Amen.
hardest thing in the world. It's the most fulfilling thing, fulfillment in your life, but it's hard. And your family is going to take a hit because you have to, you're not working a regular 8, 9 to 5 job.
No, not one that you can clock in and out of and leave it at
This
the
is not the
office
case.
across town.
This is not the case.
Mm-mm.
You're working around the clock sometimes. Like we just spoke about this. You're working 12 hours. Shoot, you might have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to finish this because this has got to be set a certain way, and the glue got to get set, or it's a whole bunch of stuff, and you're working longer.
Yeah,
And it's no such thing as a 7 day week. It might be 10 day week.
that's what people
That you
understand.
crammed into 5.
Right. Because
Yeah,
we don't get it, like
it's
for a typical
crazy.
event on the day
And
of.
then in the middle of it, oh my God, did I miss my son's what had to happen? I gotta let me see if my sister's available to go and see, oh, your grandkids gotta play or something. I can't come because I got this.
Do you
And that's,
not know?
Your family takes a big hit when you're
A
doing
big one.
and
when
that's
you're
one of the things
doing
you have to
you're
understand is
doing
that when you
this.
run a small business, when
It
you're a
ain't
business
easy.
owner, it's not easy at all. You got to be disciplined.
Extremely,
You have to be
extremely
extremely good
disciplined.
at time management,
Yep.
and you got to
Good
stay
God
focused.
Almighty.
Where like if you go work a 9 to 5 job, you just someone just telling you what to do. So it's a difference to where I go to 9 to 5, clock in, do my work, go home. I ain't gonna worry about it. But there's like yeah, absolutely. Vanessa said there's sacrifices. You put up a lot more when you're running your own business. You're doing a lot more sacrificing across the board because like how
Especially
many
when you got little ones at home.
right?
It's a big sacrifice. You got late nights and everything. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So when you
Sacrifice.
so
It's the biggest sacrifice in the world when you work for yourself. I don't. That's just it.
yeah, and that's what people understand is that time is that the operational piece, the time that's put into it is you have to understand, be respectful, regardless. Okay, if you don't cancel and your event turns out and everything goes according to plan, I thank you. A review that shows that hey, I appreciate your work. That's something that people need to understand is that there's a lot more that's put into it to make your day special, and
Mhm.
that cost is like, and see me, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I hear somebody, oh, that costs way too much money, then you know what? At that point, I don't want to do your event no more. I don't want to have nothing to do with you because by you making that comment, you just disrespect all the hard work and sacrifices I put into my business.
Amen.
So that's one of those things that people you gotta be careful when. Oh, I'm not gonna pay that price. That's too much. Okay, first of all, if you're telling me that I'm too much, oh, guess what? You're from rude awakening because everybody else
Mhm.
charges 2 times or 3 times more than I charge. So that's just something that people need to do your research. That's another thing too. That's my last any messages. Do your research. What most of us charge is the actual rate that like okay, I can't say my charge, but like what you and Leah charge is like the norm
Mhm.
for prices. Like mine, I think I'm probably the only person that's probably a little bit way below, but it's I have I have my justifications for it, so I'm okay with that. But everybody else have to understand is that when you see one person doing one doesn't mean that everybody's gonna do the same thing.
No, everybody's going to be doing something different.
So
Everybody has different prices for everything. So that's why it's important to plan ahead. Just plan ahead so you can have everything that you need accordingly.
but that is all I think we beat that horse to death with our hour 30 minutes right now. But this
We're
was a
good.
good, extremely good show because y'all went into detail. I love the way y'all kind of went into the operational costs, and
Mhm.
y'all kind of spelled it out in detail, so people get understanding that we're not magicians. We just don't poof and make things happen. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes.
That's right.
Most definitely.
But with that being
Oh,
said,
real quick. Brad wants to know. Well, who was that? No, who asked me a question? Somebody just asked me a question about what Y&L was. Y&L Productions is actually a rental company. So I supplied table linens, centerpieces, live and silk, chairs, furniture like the chairs you see behind Leah, not the
the
not
red
those
chair, the red
those
chair, yeah, the
that
red
big
chair.
chair in the back, stuff like that. Sorry, I was just wanted to answer the question because I didn't get a chance to answer.
And then, oh, by the way, I'm gonna, oh, look, I'm gonna share this secret, Leah. They got 85-inch screen TVs in, and them
Woo,
bad boys are
woo,
hanging.
woo, woo.
Oh my God! I walked in. I didn't want to leave. I told Leah I'm gonna put my bed on one side, my desk on the other side, right there in front of the 85-inch screen TV because I told him if we turn that TV sideways, I could be talking to myself. I mean, it's just that's how big it is. I mean, I just told her, I said I just want to sit here and guard the TV and make sure nobody don't mess with it. I mean,
Since
but
Oh my Lord.
Mario came here yesterday and he was like a kid in a candy jar.
I know he
I
was.
mean,
I
he was
know he
crazy.
was.
See
my
that? Let me
eyes
see
lit up.
if I
My
can
eyes
find
lit
the
up.
graph.
Look at it. Ain't that so beautiful? Look at
Look
that.
at that.
It is.
Leah, I
It's
want
just
you to know I got a
beautiful.
phone call. I don't even think he's at your parking lot yet when I got my phone call.
I mean, oh my gosh, that just look. It was just so sexy, just laying right there on the wall like that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
He bought his whole kit. You know how he got to have his kit. He bought his
Uh-huh.
whole suitcase. I was like, this here. But
I
I
like
knew
it.
it. You know, I had to call my brother. I was like, listen, I need you to come down here because I don't know what I'm doing with this
And
TV.
then what? And then what was so funny is after I left there, I went to the store, and I was like, let me go look and see. I look and saw the price. I said, damn. I was like, okay. I'm not even thinking of the fact of I ain't got no space for it in my house. I'm just wanting to go see what the price was. I'm like, I saw that 43. I said, oh well.
He
I
is
said,
so
well, it was.
crazy.
I said I had to
Leah,
bring
I don't
myself
think he
back
was
to
at the
reality.
parking lot when he called me. I promise I don't think he was at the parking lot yet.
I was like, I just was
Oh my
just to
God.
see.
Y'all
But I'm
is
just
too
saying,
crazy for
I
me.
just can't wait. And see now, I can't wait to get into that venue because those 285-inch. I had a dream about them last night. I was like, yes. I'm like, oh my gosh, 85-inch screen.
Oh.
Oh, Leah, one quick thing. April 20th, is that the date, Mario? I need you to check with me. Let me know about your April 20th of next year.
I think it should be available.
Okay.
Oh,
Write
also,
that down. April 20th.
I'm gonna
2022.
talk offline. I gotta talk to you about Memorial Day weekend.
Okay.
If you have any availability, and we'll talk after we end the show. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we will talk to y'all later.
All right.
Look, if anybody else get an 85-inch screen, just let me know. I mean, just I'll come make sure it works like it's supposed to. But uh, but again, y'all enjoy yourselves. Y'all have a great week. I know we only have
Have a
2 more days of the
wonderful,
weekend,
wonderful Wednesday.
and we'll see y'all next week
Yes,
around the same
Lord.
time.
Oh my goodness, y'all crazy.